Hi everyone. So I kind of got waylaid in my discussion here about how I got to California. Okay, so now I'm in New York. So I want to get somewhere. I want to be somebody. In fact, I had this obsession about I wanted to become a model. I was made by my mom and other people that she marshaled into her on her side. She hated my guts. She wanted to destroy me. She wanted to murder me, kill me, destroy me, demoralize me, psychologically murder me, make me feel that I was nothing, I was worthless, that I was ugly. And it was the opposite. Everything was the opposite. I was valuable, I was beautiful, I had a beautiful body. But she and the rest of them that obeyed her, they all made me feel worthless. I didn't completely feel it, but they were trying, let's say, tempting me to believe I was worthless. They were trying to crush my confidence, crush my self-esteem. And that's what abusers do. Abusers destroy your self-image and your self-esteem. There's all kinds of abusers, but I'm just talking about in general. So I had a couple of jobs, but they were like lead to nothing jobs. Like I worked at a clothing store, I made learners, and I worked as tried to work as a waitress, and that didn't work out in New York City because it was like I had to take 3 subways to get to where the job was, and the learners I had to take 3 subways there, 3 subways back to Williamsburg. It was very cumbersome, the business of the transportation, and of course you're making minimum wage. I don't think I actually got a waitress job because waitress jobs pay well. But anyway, I was trying to be a model and I joined the modeling agency. The guy that ran it, he was just a pervert. And but he did send me on jobs. I didn't get any of the jobs. I was only 16, and I remember how frustrating it was. I went like on 5 places. They were for clothing, like for people who ran clothing, wholesale clothing and things, and you'd have to model for the buyers or whatever. But for some reason, I didn't get the jobs. And then one guy, I remember, said I was too tall. Can you believe that? A model. Too tall? He said, and the other guy, there were 2 of them. The one guy said, she's great. And the other guy said, no, she's too tall. He must have had a thing about short stuff. Short eyes, you ever heard the term short eyes? He didn't want a short girl, He probably wanted a midget. But, and then other places said, you have your own wardrobe. What, my own wardrobe? I was flat broke. How the crap am I going to have my own wardrobe? In order to model for you, I have to come in with a wardrobe? They had all these unreasonable demands or whatever. And the guy was a pervert, kept trying to make me take my clothes off for him, and trying to keep feeling me up, the head of the agency, I was just a kid. And that's life. That's one thing in life that when you're trying to get anywhere, especially in show business, modeling, anything to do with, especially when you're young, vulnerable, unknown, you're going to go through a gauntlet of people who just want to get sex out of you. A gauntlet. You think it was bad, just dating, when you're 15, 16, 17? It gets worse. When you're trying to find work and jobs and everything, it gets worse and worse and worse. But anyway, so I would walk around at night and I'd go to bars, I'd walk up and down the streets in New York City. And everywhere I got a chance, like to meet an artist or someone that was a photographer, I would offer to model for them. And so I modeled for about 10 different street artists, and they didn't pay them. They gave me the pictures and I took them home. And then whenever I would meet a photographer, I said, I want to be a model, so I'd have them take pictures of me. A lot of times they took topless pictures, not naked, but just topless and whatever. So one of these photographers who took topless pictures of me, he wanted to get rid of me because I was always hounding him, trying to get somewhere, trying to get ahead, trying to become somebody. It's trying to become somebody. So he got tired of it. He says, I'm going to introduce you to this guy named Adolphe Barreau. Adolphe Barreau, he's an editor of Fawcett Books. I said, what's that? He goes, oh, well, they deal with photography, and he might be a good connection for you, you know. So he did. He introduced me to Adolphe Barrault. So I met him. He's a little old man, ugly as hell, and he was another pervert. Pervert. The whole time I hung around him, he was trying to get me trying to let him do oral sex to me. And then he hooked me up with one photographer who offered to pay me $30, which to me was a fortune, $30. And then he left me alone with the guy. Now, you leave a young, innocent girl alone with a guy, he's like 35, he's going to try to do sex to the girl. And unless you have a German Shepherd and a Rottweiler and an armed police guard, he's going to get to her. And yes, he got to me. And I didn't know any better. I was just naive. Because you don't know anything when you're 15, 16. I had just turned 16. And so then Adolphe Barrault comes back. He was with his son. They went somewhere. And then when the guy left, he asked me, did the guy pay me? Yeah, he gave me the $30 he promised to give me. And he says, anything else happened? I said, yeah, he did it to me. He goes, well, did he pay you? I go, what do I look like? He says, oh, no, you should have charged him. I says, well, I'm not a prostitute, so what am I going to do? Say you got to pay me this and that? I mean, that's the problem. You're a kid, you don't know shit. I should have told him, well, pay me double for the modeling or something. You know, you understand me? But I couldn't think that way. And guys, whenever I would ask them, they would promise me all sorts of things. I'll give you this, I'll get you an apartment, like the guy that owned that agency. He says, I'll get you your own apartment, he goes. So then I said, well, when are you going to give me the apartment? He says, what are you, a prostitute? You see what I mean? So, in other words, they manipulate you. They try to get you for free, and then you try to get something out of them. They call you a prostitute, because the word prostitute just knocks you down and makes you feel, you know, this big, like you're no good, like you're a dirty slut, like you're a tramp, a slut, a whore, and all that, you know. So they want to get it for free. That's okay. That's okay. Give it to me for free, then you're okay. But anyway, to get past that. So Adolphe Barrault, one day he showed me the photographers that he put together photography. They were like magazines. They were like black and white booklets, magazines. This is a long time ago. This is 1960. So things were not as sophisticated as they are now. But this was artistic photography. Artistic, very artistic. It wasn't sleazy. It wasn't porno. They didn't have any outrageously sexy. Well, maybe they did, but not on the commonly everywhere on the newsstands. They didn't. I suppose they had them somewhere, but if you went to an average newsstand, I don't think you could find them there. I never saw any there that I recall. So he shows me these books, and he shows me all the photographers, and then he showed me this guy, Andre de Dienes. Andre de Dienes was a top photographer. He also worked for Playboy, blah, 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 and he said he was the best for nude photography. So, of course, I was interested. Oh, wow, Andre de Dienes. And even though I wasn't as voluptuous as I became, I still had and I did. What am I saying? I thought I had a gorgeous, beautifully shaped, voluptuous, not voluptuous like huge boobed. I was very skinny. I was very thin, very, very thin. My arms were like toothpicks. Oh God, what I wouldn't give to be a toothpick now. So he said Andre de Dienes was coming over one night. Ah, my chance, to be continued. To be continued on the Andre de Dienes